Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another review of The Bad Batch. Today, we're taking a look at Season 2, Episode 3, The Solitary Clone. Silly me, right off the bat, just going to address this. This did not go up on the Monday, where last review I said, yeah, I think these are going to go up on Mondays, and this is instead being uploaded on a Tuesday. That's because I'm silly, and I totally forgot to do this review and upload it on Monday because I'm not used to uploading on Mondays, and I haven't uploaded on Mondays in a while. So it slipped my mind on top of me being also distracted by the first episode of The Last of Us series. So sorry about that. So, but a day late, but better late than never, right? So here we are with the review for The Solitary Clone, and this is a very, 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 very good episode. It has just a teensy bit of everything in it. I feel like it's got action while also incorporating a lot of very heavy themes that really make you think. And then at the same time, it's also progressing our characters forward. And I think they've overall done a very good job of that. Seeing Commander Cody back, got a big clap out of me. And so, of course, knew he was coming. He was in the trailers. They'd already talked about that. So really cool seeing him here and still leading clones. And it didn't really seem like he had too outwardly speaking out loud. It's like on the surface, it didn't really seem like he had too much of an issue post Order 66, where it's like he didn't really seem that torn up about what he did at first. Then they go on the whole mission and everything, and I think that was really kind of what cemented to Cody that he's not on the right side here. Because the people commanding him are more like the enemies he fought against rather than the men especially the man he served under. Of course, Obi-Wan being his general. So hearing the Imperial governor go, it's like, no, execute her. And he's like, we just decided to put down our arms and talk about peace. And Crosshair's like, oh boy, I get to pull my trigger again. And he kills her. Of course he does. So, and I really feel like in that moment, you see the look on Cody's face, and he kind of makes his decision that he's kind of done. So that statement later from Rampart of him saying that Cody's gone AWOL and not even recognizing his name, but knowing him as CC2224. And then it's such a jerk, not even addressing them by their names. I bet a lot of boys in the 501st are probably having some painful flashbacks right about now, those that are left. And so, it's... I feel like with what Rampart said about Cody going AWOL, I think that's the truth. There's some people thinking that maybe he's actually been put into like a re-education camp or something, that, they say, oh, there's a lot of clones that are going AWOL, that are disagreeing with the Order or something. It's like maybe they're not actually going AWOL, but they're actually being put into re-education camps or something. They're trying to be reprogrammed, their inhibitor chips turned back on or something. Or even worse, they're just being outright terminated because they're no longer useful. That was kind of touched on a teensy bit in the Karen Travis Republic Commando novels. So I totally understand people jumping to that conclusion, and it is in the back of my mind, but for the moment, I feel like it is true that Cody just straight up went AWOL, and there are a lot of clones jumping ship right about now, solely because I don't think they would kill Cody off screen like that, and I also don't feel like Cody would be one to be thrown into a camp like that, and to go quote unquote quietly or whatever. And so, I don't know. I feel like maybe I feel like he has gone AWOL and he's going to look for Rex or something. Don't know yet. We just don't know yet. There's lots of episodes still coming up, of course. Um, I well, February 8th, episode, because I'm looking at the episode list right now. Episode 7 and episode 8 is The Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. So I could maybe see them doing something. I feel like that could lead credence to the theory that there is, like a bunch of clones that are trying to be reprogrammed, or they're being thrown into prison or something like that. And then especially with an episode called The Clone Conspiracy, we know Palpatine's going to be in this season. So I feel like maybe that could be his, one of his political grandstanding moments where he twists the narrative and makes things work out in his favor. And it's like he's getting rid of the clones, which are really kind of the last loose ends about his plan, and they've served their purpose because the Jedi are gone. So it's like he doesn't necessarily need them anymore. He can now rely on the recruits coming in for the new TK troopers, and of course they'll eventually become stormtroopers. So I could totally see that, him going. It's like, the clones turned against us and were reprogrammed by separatist holdouts and blah blah blah, or something like that. And I guess that's just going to be I'm going to have to try to find a way to do a Palpatine impression in every one of these reviews now, whether it makes sense or not. Because that's two in a row now. I've done that. That's kind of funny. So I could kind of see them moving in that direction, but I feel like I don't know if Cody got sent to one of those. I feel like Cody probably did get out. He's probably gone looking for Rex, and then maybe he and Rex are going to figure out what's happening to all these clones, and then you move all the way down. Episodes 14, 15, and 16, I feel like are definitely going to tie into each other. Episode 14 is called Tipping Point, and then episode 15 and 16 is The Summit and Plan 99. I could see that having something to do with, we've got to rescue clones or something like that. If that is where the season is going, I guess we'll find out. But, so yeah, I don't think Cody's gone. I really, really doubt that. In terms of the Clone Wars characters and those that are left and everything, I really think Cody's too big a character to just have in the one episode. And all right, we're done with him. There's your little special guest star of the moment. I feel like he's got a larger part to play just because of who he is and in connection to the larger saga and everything. So I feel like we're going to see more of him. And then, of course, this was a good episode for Crosshair, too, because I feel like Crosshair's opinion is maybe starting to shift as well. Now, is he totally against the Empire? Maybe not. I think it's too early for that. I don't know if he's going to turn against the Empire. But does he particularly like Rampart? I don't think so. So I wonder if maybe he's going to try to figure out a way to get rid of Rampart, because he clearly does not appreciate clones. And I mean, he's made that clear from the start, because because in the whole last season he was talking about, wanting to get rid of the clones and start in on the conscripts and everything. So I could see Crosshair kind of maybe gunning for Rampart's job, and then maybe that not going well and that kind of forcing him out of the Empire. I don't know. Crosshair's opinion on events have certainly changed. I feel like he's still definitely a, shoot first, ask questions later type of guy. He's going to do what needs to be done. Good soldiers follow orders. But at this point, he definitely is not entirely happy with his situation anymore. And so whether or not he's going to take that out on Rampart, on the Bad Batch, or of random Imperials, maybe this is going to make him like some sort of pro-clone advocate or something, where he's going to try to stand up for all clones or something, because he doesn't feel like they're being treated properly or something. He's going to become like a clone whistleblower or something. So I don't know. So something's definitely stirring in Crosshair. Whether or not we see any of that get acted on soon remains to be seen. There's, like I said, still a lot of season left, so I guess we'll just have to find out. But I do think he's looking at that Imperial armor a little differently now. He woke up and he's staring at it as it's sitting there in in his little room. I think he's definitely looking at it a little differently now. So, battle droids as fun as ever with their high pitched voices. Yeah, just their mannerisms and everything. It's like, we've been told to keep an eye on you. It's like just the lovable stupidity in all of them, like the two droids having a high five or high three moment when they shoot down the Imperial shuttle with the AAT. You know, that's just, it's like, I just love the battle droids personality. I always have. So I just always, I love getting to see little moments, these little character moments of them, and then for them to get blown up or sliced in half or shot about 10 seconds later. That's just always, it's kind of the unfortunate reality with battle droids, is that they're always going to get dismantled in the end, most likely. So it's just kind of funny. And like those last 2 or 3, when the door opens, when the tactical droid's been destroyed and they're waiting for new orders, but it's not going to come because the tactical droid's down. And then that last one is just very worried. He's like, Commander! And then the door opens and they get flamethrowered. Poor guys. But speaking of poor guys, poor clones, because, again, these guys survive the entire war, then they get sent on this essentially suicide mission where they're fighting droids again, and they thought that they were probably done with this, and then what happens? They get killed by droids. That one, and just like they made Droidicas really scary in this episode. Actually, I thought that it's like Droidicas have always been intimidating, but I don't know if they've ever been really scary. I think they were actually scary in this episode because they're in those hallways that echo and stuff, and you can hear them rolling around. They're coming, but from which direction are they coming from? And they've got the shield generator, so it's like, how do you? It's really hard to defend yourself. And I think his name was Weiler. Poor Weiler, he gets shot up when the one rolls through the door, and then Nova, pretty good job defending himself and keeping the squad safe and everything. But then he gets taken out by a commando droid and blown to smithereens because, like always, the one guy with the grenades goes down, and somehow that activates all the other grenades in his pouch. Why that always happens, I don't know, but yeah. So R.I.P. Weiler and Nova. We get 2 named clones for a brief second. That even though they didn't say much, they showed a little bit of personality by some of the stuff they did, and we had to see them die again. Thank you, Clone Wars writing team, for your lasting impact on everything Clone Trooper related for years and years to come. It's like, oh, I really like that guy. Oh, he's dead. Well, here's a person that's exactly identical to him, but has a slightly different personality. I like him. Oh, he's dead. And then it's like, on and on and on and on. Unless your name is Rex or Cody, you may not, you're most likely not making it out alive unless they decide to retcon your death and bring you back as a cyborg later, like with Echo. So, but it is interesting to see some of these separatist holdouts, and it's like I was saying last review, is that this show does a really good job of exploring the side of, in some cases, the separatists were right, and this governor, this rightful governor of whatever this planet is, she's right that what Dooku was saying was correct, that the Republic was corrupt and could reform into something more sinister. Of course, at the time, Dooku thought he would be, one of the leaders of it. He thought he was going to be in that second-hand Darth Vader position, but he didn't have, I think his head was a little too big. He wasn't thinking with his noggin. So yeah. So just I really liked that, immediately in the next episode we see much more of that. So yeah, that's like 2 episodes in a row now, kind of exploring the separatist side point of view of the war and everything, since everyone was pawns in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, really good episode. I really like the very ominous ending, melancholy ending where Crosshair is now, because at some point he's kind of a jerk, but you got to feel a little sorry for him because he thinks he's maybe found some comradeship back in Cody, because he never really gelled with his other squad. He killed that one guy right off the bat, and then he kept the others around for a while, and then ended up killing them too, because he didn't really like them anyway. So then he sees Cody again, and he thinks maybe that he's found a friend again, and then Cody immediately jumped ship. So, because yeah, it's clear he regrets everything that happened with Order 66 and what the Empire is, what the Republic became in the form of the Empire and everything. So, it's like, yeah, people just, and Rampart makes a point of it. He's like, what's with all these clones around you, jumping ship? It's like he's deliberately poking the bear, and I think he knows what he's doing, trying to make Crosshair unstable a little bit so he can probably act out and get himself killed. That'd probably be in Rampart's best interest. So yeah, I just really, really good episode. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't really have too much to say or critique or anything like that. I think it was done really well. Yeah, it was like a quick little 2 minutes episode of Clone Wars, but in the time of the Empire. So I like it whenever they can change that up, like that one episode of Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, I really think that's it. Of course, looking forward to next week's episode, and I say next week's episode, it's really going to be tomorrow's episode because again, I'm recording this on a Tuesday. And these episodes come out on Wednesdays. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's episode. And hopefully next week I will get episode 4's review up in a more timely manner on the actual day I said, because I won't be distracted by the premiere of a new Last of Us show and have a couple other projects going. So hopefully next week be back on track. So thank you for hanging in there and for listening and watching, and I will see you guys next week. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.